Here we go again. Hello again, PCQIs. So this is a continuation for our FDA inspections or agency audit. So on this part, we're going to talk about the designated meeting space. So part of, as you put your program or protocol together, you're going to want to identify those meet and greet places. Obviously, an agency investigator or an auditor it's at the lobby. As a PCQI saying, hey, FDA is here. What would that look like, right? So now you're looking at your protocol. You might have a code on the radio, such whatever. I've seen those as well, where there's an inspector, there's a PA system that basically says a code word that so everybody knows that there's an agency auditor. So I've seen that and witnessed that on facilities as well. So now that you have had that, so now that the team is informed, obviously you're picking up the phone, you're getting on the radio, whatever that protocol is. Now you guys are going to meet somewhere. So you want to designate a room. A lot of it is the conference room, right? There's it could be just a room in itself with a round table with 4 chairs, which is widely utilized, for audit and such. So a lot of companies that get audited a lot, this is no sweat. Conference room, a designated office space, and things like that to host the investigator, okay? So you're gonna wanna know this space prior to escorting the investigator. Obviously, you don't wanna be flustered. Let's say you go over there and you met, for the sake of example, Fred, the FDA. So you're shaking hands and you're verifying credentials, and now you don't know where to go. So you're gonna want to practice this and put that on your SOPs, what is supposed to be in that room, what to expect, and things like that. So in this particular room, there's some preps. I'm just looking at my notes real quick from the previous incident that I had. Make sure you don't have records just laying all over the place, folders, open binders. You want to organize these things. Preferably, don't take them to the records or binders room, right? Because it just opens up a lot of more questions on things that are unnecessary during that particular exercise, right? So you want to be able to have a room that's kind of, it's in a clean slate. The auditor's going to ask for certain questions, what they're there for and what they're going to be looking into. They ask, you provide, okay? So that's kind of how that works. Don't leave laying things around, because if you're going to look like you don't have control, they're going to know you don't have control. If you look like, or your system is basically a mess, you have things all over the place, they know it, okay? And it's going to be more scrutinizing. It's going to unfocus their day, and as well as your day, I should say, right? So while they are occupying that space, they're gonna see some things as you are being questioned to provide certain documents or records. And one of the things that you need to be is organized at this point. You got to know where everything is. If they ask for a binder, a record, an SOP, you should be able to provide it, right away. You don't have to go to a different building, you know what I mean, and all of those things, and you got to go find these things. It's just going to create more questions for them. So the more they're looking around, the more they're going to ask more questions. It's just human nature. I do the same way, and obviously you're going to do the same way. It's like going to, somebody's office and go, okay, oh, they like this or they like that. You start asking yourself, oh, let me ask about this. What if this is available? Oh, they have an open records room here. Can I access that? And some investigators, they do access it. They would politely tell you they're going there, and they're just, next thing you know, they're there, right? So and that's another things that you might not be covering, or not might be a specialty, or the designated person might not be able to answer. So then that's gonna ended up in a non-conformance or non-compliance report, which we'll talk about later on. So anyway, tidbit on that, designate a room that's free of records and binders and whatnot. So you should have a designated space that is lockable, private. If you are going to use the conference room, make sure it's not being used for records management as well. So, basic housekeeping and document control management procedures are going to be in place. And obviously records, right? For your records verification and validation. Don't put it all in one room where an investigator can sit there and scrutinize what you're working on at that point. Anyways, those are some of the tidbits that I've seen. Hopefully that helps out. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next one.